You know that some of your clients want recliners, right? And you're thinking, please, please don't make me put that in that room. Well, Kravit just gave you a gift. Their new line, Kravit Motion, is all about comfort without the clunky eyesore. We're talking sleek silhouettes, tailored arms and backs, gorgeous details, and yes, it reclines, but in a way that actually works with your interior design plan. So whether it's manual, plug-in, battery powered, it's all high-end, no, all low maintenance, and you can customize it with curated fabrics and finish options that fit your design vision. So if you've been avoiding motion furniture, it's time to take another look. Head over to Kravit.com and check out Kravit Motion, because form and function finally just called a truce. Welcome to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company Window Works from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. I have a question for you. Have you ever come home from High Point Market or Vegas or Dallas or one of the international furniture markets, and you've got hundreds of photos on your phone and absolutely no system for what to do with them, right? You've been running from showroom to showroom, snapping pictures of all the pieces that you love, and you tell yourself you'll remember where you saw it. You tell yourself you'll organize it later, and sometimes you probably have. But every time, what happens when you get home? You open your camera roll. You're trying to remember which showroom that chair came from, who the rep was, what the price was. And somehow, all of that is supposed to turn into actual specifications for actual projects. If you've been to market even one time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the thing is, market is expensive. Flights, hotels, time away from your projects, time away from your people, your family. So the goal isn't just to go to get inspired, right? The goal is to be able to execute something worthwhile for your business. Well, my guest today, Gage Edward, understands this problem firsthand. Gage has spent more than a decade working at the intersection of interior design, product development, and business development. For 10 years, he led business development for a nationally recognized design firm, overseeing design projects, construction builds, and major brands partnerships. Many of you may recognize him from Bravo's Flipping Out, where he got a behind-the-scenes look at the business side of the design industry. And after years of walking markets and dealing with this very same challenge himself, Gage decided there had to be a better way for him and for you to discover what is happening on a market and remember it when you get home. And that's what we're talking about today. High Point Market is coming up in April. If you're listening in real time, we're just a minute from High Point, April 2026. And if you are planning a trip to this market or anyone in the future, this conversation is going to change your productivity and the way you think about shopping market. I can't wait for you to hear what Gage has to say. Hey, Gage, thanks so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Hi, LuAnn. How are you?
I'm great, and I'm super excited to learn about this Discover Market app. I know enough to be dangerous, Gage. I do not understand it completely, but I do know enough about it to think this seems like a pretty cool thing to help an interior designer, not only navigate and handle their High Point Market or Dallas market experience, but their workflow once they're back to real life and in their studio. So tell us, what is Discover Market? What is this this new, great, wonderful app that you've guys got, and then we'll pick it apart how to use it and what the benefits are.
Perfect. Well, thank you for having us, me. So Discover Market's kind of the overall result of my own 15 years of going to market and experiencing, walking away from showrooms, a million plus square feet, and I have 500 photos. And then, you go home, you have a holiday with your family right after that. In particular, October was, as soon as we all left High Point, we went right into Halloween. I have 200 pictures of my kids in their costumes, and somewhere buried in there were 500 pictures of products from the vendors that I loved. Well, then my clients are pissed off at me. I was gone for 3 or 4 days. Why is my project not moving? Where is my this, that, and the other? And so what we looked at is there's got to be a better way. We all break apart. We organize in spreadsheets. We take our photos. We send them to this app, to that app, to whatever it may be. But there's a manual element of labor to that, no matter what platform or organizational tool you're utilizing as a designer. So what we looked at and what we built is a technology that allows you as a user to download Discover Market. It's an app that works universally across market. And everybody, I think since COVID, it actually kind of opened this up. When we would all go to restaurants, you had to scan a QR code to
Yeah,
open up
yeah,
your
yeah.
menu. It kind of changed our behavior, right?
Right.
And so now I was watching over the years as we all got back into market where people would start taking pictures of these tags. And I kept thinking, what are you doing with the picture of that tag? What's that going to do? You can see, sure, you see pricing or whatever's available, take a picture of the product, take a picture of the tag. But in reality, it's part of that 500 pictures that you just walked away from market.
Exactly.
Market's expensive. If you brought an assistant, if you did hotel and you went out to dinner every night and you had the flights and all, there's a lot of money that goes into that for
Investment
everybody
in
who
it.
yeah, a huge
Yeah.
investment. And so when you leave that market, did it become a functional trip? Is there actually, an attribution point of understanding, I found that at High Point, or I found that in Vegas, or I found it in Atlanta or Dallas or wherever? Do you know where that originated? Can you reference that easily? Because we all know too, markets are just scheduled. Like I don't need to furnish the house in October, but that's when
Right.
High Point is.
That's right.
Okay. Well, then I have to go because in 4 months from now, I'm going to have that project and I just want to see what's fresh and what's out there. But could I have connected? So Discover Market allows you as a technology to scan those barcodes, the QR code, whatever it is. And since it's a native app, it speaks to our system and it instantaneously loads. Instead of taking a picture, you can scan that hang tag of that light or that sofa or that rug, and instantly, without touching another button, you just save the product detail, the colors it's available in, the lifestyle imagery of that product, your sales rep contact based on your region, the product availability if it's coming in at X time or that time, and your pricing in one spot. So as you walk through, let's say, a lighting showroom, you see a whole new set of Kelly Wearstler's lights. Okay. Well, just go across and scan every barcode of the things that you like. Every one of those products is now logged for later. You move on. It's way more efficient. You now go over and you look at Sunpan's products and you go and you look at Leroy's rugs and you look at Forehand's, new occasional chairs, whatever it may be. You're scanning these products and you, in back of your mind, when you start using this platform, are just realizing I don't even care about, I can enjoy market. I can go out and have a great dinner and I can have drinks tonight because this already organized. If it's a new vendor, I don't necessarily know. I don't even know who my sales rep is. You know, in 3 weeks from now, when I get my clients calmed down, my family back together, and everybody's, my spouse isn't mad at me because I was gone and all of that. Well, now I can go back and I can reference that. And in the app, because I just scanned across market, I now can reorganize by price point. I can reorganize by the category. So if I saw 50 vendors at market and I went to Curry and I went to Hudson Valley, I went to Visual Comfort and I went, okay, great. Well, I just want to look at lamps. The beforehand says lamps. Okay. Well, then, and Classic has chandeliers. Great. So I just want to look at that category. I don't care what vendor. Well, now that's just sitting there. So all your scans are also now organized by whatever category you want. If you just want to see by the vendor that you looked at, whatever you want to do, you can organize that way. And it's a universal tool to use across all vendors at market. So we're 2 markets in. April High Point is going to be the 3rd market. We're launching with even more vendors. So that's what it is. It really is to make it as simplistic as can be. It makes sense of the chaos of market and it allows you to not just organize pictures, it organizes the real product data. And the only other point I'd add of like the benefits before we get into that, the other thing is you imagine taking these pictures, especially lighting showrooms. I love this chandelier. Guess what? There's 75 other chandeliers behind that picture.
In the background, right?
There's somebody drinking their coffee right there, having a conversation, and I don't like her outfit. I can't send that picture to my client, right? So the 500 pictures I took are now also useless because I can't actually send that to my client because I look, it's so anyways, what I get instead is the
I
real
can tell you've
lifestyle
been there
detail.
doing this stuff. Like
I've
you
been
know
to a
the
few of
pain
them.
points.
I would say for the last 15 years, I'd say on average, I'm going to 3 a year. And so I have done it all. And I've had to throw that back, to the various people that I've worked with over my time of retailers and other wholesalers and things like that, it's not functional. I also have had clients where, do you love this chair, but don't mind the woman in the zebra print behind there. And, all the while this client's like, why aren't you at my project? What are you doing? Sure, it looks good, but
I thought that was work, but I see a lot of wine glasses in that picture.
Yes, yeah, exactly. There's a giant bar back in the background and people eating a huge lunch and yes, all of that. So I understand the process of obviously market, and that's what we build is go experience it, touch it, feel it. We always need the tactile experience of market for us as designers to really see that, because it is, it's trade. These aren't returnable items. We are buying them. We're committed. So when we sell that to our client, we really have to see it. We have to touch it. We have to feel it. But we see thousands and thousands of products, and for what we invest to be at those markets, there really hasn't been an advancement since the iPhone or the Android or whatever has had a camera on it. So we've had these cameras in our pockets, but there's really hasn't been a way to organize that in an efficient way during and post market. And so we're excited to bring it to designers and tell them about it and let them use it. And the best part is it's free.
And it's free. It's free.
So it's a free tool.
Which is interesting, right? So let me ask you a couple of questions. Like when here's what I get. I get that now, not only do I have the picture of the item, I have the spec tear sheet on it, I have my sales rep, I have the price on it. Like I get a lot of information. I understand that you're packing a lot of information into that one snap that I'm taking with my phone. And I get that I can pull up afterwards all lighting, but it still requires a certain amount of, like before I only had a picture of the piece, granted with the lady in the zebra print outfit behind it, but I had a picture of the piece and I had a picture of the tag. And I was like, okay, this tag and my things, they're side by side, so they must go together. This is a chair, this says chair, so they must go together. But I still had to move them to say my Google Drive, where it's like all chairs that I fell in love with for like, I don't know, man caves or something, right? So because I have all the other information, it's not that it's not valuable, but am I still then have that step of organizing it so that I can, like you actively, would go back for market, and like you just said, I'm in market in October, but I'm specifying in March.
Correct.
So how are you organizing? Is the app organizing? Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm asking you?
So we have desktop and mobile apps. So the same thing. So everything that you're scanning is also available on your desktop for as long as you have an account set up there. So you're always going to be able to go back and reference, and it's already logged as a file for you. The October high point scans, your recent scans. You can then instead of you having to send it to a Google Drive and organize over here and put it in a spreadsheet there, you are just clicking a button. I want to sort these finds in this time period by this category or by that vendor or whatever. And then here's the newest problem. What are the tariffs doing on pricing? I took a picture of the tag 6 months ago, but that's not the price.
Right.
So that now is changing live as the vendors are updating their data, usually daily. We now know also 6 months later, are we even producing that as a vendor? Was it discontinued?
That same thing from your app is updating that information?
Yep. So
Oh,
what this
that's
scan,
crazy.
so this scan that you took logged that product, sure. And here's another thing. It could have been a brand new market introduction. The picture that's sitting there is a white silo picture of just a background of nothing, and it's just one shot. Okay, but then they shoot lifestyle imagery of that for their own catalogs in 3 months. Okay, well, that's updating for you. You now see that, and you're now able to take that screenshot or that file or whatever of that product and send that to your client when you
Wow.
need to reference it. So it's a live feed of the product itself. So the market, the tactile portion is just the starting point. What will happen over the rest of time is that then updates. So let's say, and I've been there, it's 10:30 at night. I just got everybody to bed, everybody's leaving me alone, and I have a presentation at 9:30 tomorrow after I drop my kid to school. Okay, I need to know everything about this living room that I need to put together, and I don't have the information. And sure, I can log into those trade accounts, and I can do this and that,
Back
but
and
sometimes
forth
they
and
don't have it either showing.
yeah.
Well, we have that feed. So now I know I did love that 6 months ago, but they don't sell that rug anymore. That light's not there. The price is totally different than what I saw and what I thought. So I need to pitch this and that to my client, not that. But I
Okay.
don't have time to email. Am I emailing my rep at 10:30 at night? Who is my rep? I don't know. So you also, a lot of times, the post-market experience is that I loved that brand, but how am I going to get in touch with my rep? And guess what? The first email you're going to get back, we're at market and we need time to catch up, which all makes sense, but that's not efficient.
I
You
just
know,
love how it's so clear you've done every
I've
one of
done
these
all of it.
things.
I've done every part of this business I have touched a part of it to really understand. And what I find is when we open the app, it's a quick download for iOS or for Google. And when I show anybody, when you open it up, you click the bottom center button and a scanner opens up. It's just like a photo, you see a live feed of your camera.
Yeah.
Um, you scan that product and I don't even have to explain it. The jaws just drop. They're like, you
It's just
have to be
done.
kidding.
It's
And I said,
yeah.
no. And then now look at your recent scans. When
Yeah.
you look at your recent scans, you have all this data. So I just walked across a table full of lamps and I scanned every one of them. Okay. I now forever, as long as that product is around and being updated, I have logged all the information I'm ever going to need about that. That streamlines my process. It streamlines the process for the vendors because now they don't have to service all of that. Think about it honestly. If I'm buying a $150 lamp as a onesie twosie as a trade
Yes.
member, I'm not going to get necessarily the attention right away of that vendor because they're focused on big box
Yeah.
orders. They leave
Yeah.
market, they need a week because they're processing the big box orders. Fine. But we can provide and get that data that much closer to you. And it helps everybody. It helps everyone stay organized across the board. But yeah, I've done every side of it.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
take me back to it's 10:30 at night and you've got this presentation in the morning and just finish that story. So it's like I go in now, it's a live feed, it's a live update. And so I see that particular rug is actually no longer available. I see
Correct.
that lamp is now $1,000 more because of tariffs or whatever. So what's the next step in that app? Is it just that knowledge that you don't put it on your presentation board and you don't
Is
screw
it
yourself?
Sure,
But is
yeah.
there
Yeah.
now are you comping it out in your app because you probably saw other things that you liked, or it's just literally the value is I'm not pitching something that's not possible anymore, which
Correct,
is
and then
good
you
value.
and then you finally got this meeting with your client, they've got 30 minutes, you won't see them until next week, you need to get these approvals because you charge by a percentage commission, you just want the order going, so as
Yeah.
fast as you can get the information going, the better, and you don't look like an idiot to your client that you pitch something like, that's the rug. That's it. We're done. We just finished the whole room. That's perfect. It anchors it." And you're like, "Great. Guess what? They don't produce it."
And
And
it's
my
not that
sales
good anyway. I mean, this
and
other
you
one is
yeah.
so much nicer.
You didn't really love it. I know I sold it. I
I don't know
sold it
about you, but I didn't really love
I
it.
sold it to you so hard, but today I think we should move on.
I mean,
Exactly.
it's
And
just a
so
rug.
so it allows you to see that data that would have been a picture from 6 months ago in your gallery.
Yes.
How are you going to find that? Are you going to
Well,
search?
but to your point, even if you found it because it was burned
Doesn't
on your
matter.
brain cells, now you pitch the darn thing and LuAnn isn't selling it anymore, right?
Correct. So it's, when you've got that and you have that tool, it was as a designer that went to market, it's your data to capture anyway. You're
Yeah,
capturing it in a picture. But
yeah,
we connected the dots so that you actually have the data that we all know is available. We
yeah.
just put it in one central place for you to then save. That will then update. And whenever it is you need to reference it, let's say that rug, you loved it, but you're like, you know what? That was April, but I know in October I saw something else. Let me go back to those scans to see what was in that set.
Right.
Um, I went to Dallas or I went to Vegas or whatever it is within, our furniture space and our vendors here.
Do you find, Gage, that listen, I've been to all the markets, but thankfully I don't have to do this stuff at market. I always say to all my friends that I'm hanging out with, all the designers, I'm like, oh my God, like they'll be like, okay, Lou, so your next panel's at 4. It's 3. I'm gonna go hit Leloy for an hour. I'm gonna go hit Kravet for an hour. I'll
Yep.
see you at 4. And I'm like, God, you have to go work now? Like that's stinks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So my thing is not having experienced that, is it normally a thing where as a designer, you might not necessarily remember which showroom you saw a thing in, but a thing that made an impression on you, you're likely to know it was April market or it was Vegas winter. Is that
Correct.
more that the anchor is the environment and the event more than I know for a fact it was at the Kravet showroom at 2:00 on
Mhm.
Tuesday in October, right?
Yep.
So it's more the market you'd associate it with.
It's the overall time period that you were there for 3 or 4 days, whatever it is, and you will know what 15 or 20 or 30 vendors you went to because it's logged right there for you. You can
Right, but
just
I'm saying
yeah.
just as a designer, if you like get that 2:00 in the morning, like that's not available, and you're like, geez, I know I saw another rug that I really liked. I don't remember which showroom, but is it more likely, I'm asking you in your experience, that you'll go, but it was at Dallas or it was at Vegas? Is that more likely? And this way, now with your app, you're just pulling up your Dallas scans.
Well, what's really nice to add to that actually in an answer is that it's then let's say it's now 2 a.m. and you're struggling and I don't really understand. And let's say it was Leloy. Okay, well, the beauty is that I also have the whole Leloy catalog sitting right there in front of me. So now as an
In the
aggregated
app?
correct. On the desktop version of the app, you can do it on mobile, but it's harder to search. But the desktop version of the app, I now just want to search. I've got $500 to spend on a rug. I'm now going to cast my net, and I've got an aggregated platform of Discover Market that I started with my scan generation at markets, but now I want to stick with Aloy. You know why? Because I'm ordering 3 other rugs from them, and I don't
Yeah.
want to do 2 shipments. So I just want them to ship it. I want to deal with what? Fine. Okay,
Right,
great.
right.
But now I need to scan that. But I need to scan the whole breadth of their product library. Okay, well, that's sitting right there for you too. Not
Oh,
just what
okay.
you saw in the showrooms. Obviously, Loy has a huge showroom, but that's not all their SKUs. So there's other
Right.
products you can be pulling from them. And you could also open that up. You want to look at all rugs in this size range, in this price range, and I want to look at every vendor on this platform. Okay, well, then you're going to see what options are available within that. Maybe you want to drill down into a different vendor. So that's something that when you hit that pivot, I guess, of the product's not available or it's too expensive or there's only one left and the client may not make a decision soon. So
Yeah.
I may need
Without
a
where
backup.
yeah.
Yeah, so then what you have is it is still an aggregated platform where you can then go reference the rest of their library and
That's
you can search
interesting.
across. And what's nice too is if you've got to go across 5 or 6 different rug brands, you don't have to log into 5 or 6 portals of your trade account with them because they're now showing the product there. And let's say you find
Wow.
a new rug vendor that you don't know your rep, you do show it to your client because you saw the availability, you saw the price, and it works. Well, now you can just message right on the platform directly to your sales rep without even knowing who they are.
Wow.
And then they can message back. You can start a conversation. We don't do any transactions. There's no commerce element to this, but it
Right.
connects you directly to that brand, some of which you maybe have never seen. You just visited for the first time.
Right.
Chasing down who that rep would be could potentially take you a couple weeks. Because
Sure.
again, the auto reply is I'm out at market, and then I'm busy with everyone who's going to spend giant chunks of money on my orders. It
Exactly.
makes
I'm dealing
sense.
with my
Get
$300,000
yeah,
orders,
and
not my
so
$30
what
ones.
they like is that you're able to get your information, a vendor especially likes that they can still essentially service you because that scan that you took Maybe you only want to buy the one. Here's all the information we know on that product. Let's help you get organized on your own independently, and then come to us and let's get the order done. But you don't have to
Yeah.
reach out and waste 3 weeks finding out, is that product available, what it would be my pricing, if I don't have an account set up, I have no idea. Okay,
Yeah.
well, here's what the baseline of your designer pricing is going to be. Great. And if you can buy volume and you can get a deeper discount, that as a designer that buys big volume. So,
Right. Right.
it's a great start.
That's pretty crazy. And the thing about it is it's it's kind of like I'm thinking about it's like, like you said, you have all these pictures of your kids on your camera roll. But
Mhm.
it's like you don't have just the pictures of your kids that you took. You have the pictures of everybody ever who took pictures of your kids,
Correct.
right? Like it's
Correct.
like I took these 5, but here's 50 more sofas that I didn't take pictures of
Yeah.
from this company,
Yeah,
right? That's
and
crazy.
and to the point too of that, I can search my kid by name, and my phone obviously knows that, and I can see the face, and I can go back for the years, and cool, that's great, it's quick, it's a cute picture, and that's what I send off to my parents. But when you search rug, what comes up for rug? When you search lamp, what comes up for lamp? And at the end of it, even if you found the lamp, you don't know anything else about that lamp.
Right, right. Well,
So
and to your point, even if you took the next picture has the tag, you don't know if it's in stock anymore, if the
and
price has changed,
And why would I wanna chase that down when instead I
Right.
could have just scanned this and gotten all of that? And the thing that I find so interesting, back to the zebra print in the background, and apologies to anybody who loves the zebra print, but if I'm thinking about that, I I love lifestyle imagery from the brand. I wanna see
Yeah,
this in use. I do. I also want, for my mood board, I want the silo picture of just
right.
on its own, and I want it from a few angles. Never gonna get that from my picture. I
No.
can take a picture of, a detail. I can take a wood grain. I can take, but that's more for me to really see and understand.
Right,
But
right.
when I can take that scan and get connected to the stuff I'm going to actually mood board, I'm going to render, I'm going to then sell my client on the lifestyle image of how it's shown. I'm never, as beautiful as these showrooms are with vendors, I'm never going to get that shot on my own.
You're right. That's
So,
such an interesting advantage,
well,
right?
and it is also a vendor that has their product on this platform. It leverages what they spent their marketing dollars on. They spent a lot of money shooting that shoot to get that
Yes.
image of that product. They want you using it for your
Yeah,
clients. They
yeah,
do.
yeah,
So how do they get that to you quicker? Is, again, the tactile part starts the market, you scan the product, and everything's sitting there for you later. And
yeah.
the nicest part to me is that I get to go on to dinner and I don't have to do anything the rest of the day. And maybe there's a few cocktails in there as well,
That's
and I
right.
am not thinking about what 500 things I scanned today, because
Well,
it's
and it's
all
to
waiting
your
for later.
point, Gage, I've had designers say to me, I'll be like, "Oh, how was your night last night? Blah, blah, blah." Well, after I got back, from all the panels and everything else, I spent about an hour, organizing all the photos I took today because tomorrow I'm going to take a whole nother
Yep.
slew of photos and they don't want to get behind. Some just say, screw it, and they do it later or never, to your
Yeah.
point, just have 60,000 photos. But the ones that are really trying to proactively make the market have an ROI and not
Yeah.
go home with 16 pounds of homework to do, they are spending that time going through and organizing.
Well, and it's another thing too. It's like the waste that we do just with the paper, let alone the lugging around of the business cards and the catalogs and all that. And let's say it's business cards. What
Yeah.
happens when your kid decides to start an art project and that business card is part of it? Like, that's toast. And I honestly don't remember what that was for anyway.
Right,
So,
right.
I'm blindly emailing. I think I met you last week. What was it about? Do you remember? They saw 400 people. They don't know. So yeah, it allows for that. And I think in terms of an efficiency, what I've experienced in all my time in these markets is that post market, it's such a mess. It's just the biggest mess imaginable, even if you're hyper organized and
Yeah.
all of that. But you always, as a designer, are trying to find more and new and to change your design aesthetic and evolve and all of that. But we end up with limited time that we can only go to the vendors that we typically go to.
Yeah.
So, some of our vendors may not love this, but I want you to go explore other vendors. I want you to find new things that maybe there's a tabletop vendor. There's so many people that I don't think people really understand in High Point and in Las Vegas the amount of tabletop of like the finishing work that
Yeah.
we go and we look for the big pieces of furniture, but at the end of it, we don't really have time to go find, the light accessories and the things that really like polish it and the jewels of our design, because we're so bombarded with we got to see this and we got to see that one, and Four Hands has a great party tonight. We got to go there. We're I want to do lunch over at that one and then breakfast over there tomorrow. So if we can make the time that you need to go to your baseline vendors, whoever those are, but we all have, our
Yeah,
core
you're half a
15,
dozen. Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
15. Right, right.
If we can knock those out and see everything we want to see and quickly know it's organized for later, then can we take the next day and can we just explore new?
Yeah.
Explore new.
Broaden your
That's beneficial
horizons.
for all vendors at market. It's a much better time for each of them because they get the foot traffic that normally goes to the big box people. And then on top of that too, I feel like we only have a return rate of about every 2 years. And I really think for us to be able to stay cutting edge and to really have a great design that evolves and to be able to serve our clients with, you're never going to believe it, but this Sean Lavin came out with the coolest lights. And the story of Sean Lavin is this, and he's the lead designer for Visual Comfort overall. And he then develops his own. It's the coolest stuff. He's now got these really cool landscape lights. Okay, I didn't know that they're doing that, but I'm able to come back and there's new introductions every market. It's not
Yes.
boring,
Right.
but when we don't have the ROI, we
Yeah.
don't go back.
Right.
And so these inspiration trips that we're taking for market, by being able to organize them more efficiently, better, connecting the dots immediately on one scan, that then is something that immediately, even if you send one person to market, hey, go scan these categories of products, our entire team's now getting fed this data.
Wow.
Versus we can't be in your camera roll, but we
Right.
can
And
all
we have
log
to wait
into our
for Susie to go ahead and organize it and put it in the
and
Dropbox and bada,
instead
bada, bada, bada.
Susie of Susie's Design can now tell her 5 designers, I've logged all the new things that I want us using. They're all sitting in the dashboard. I don't need to upload. You're not going to look at my photo library. You're not checking my phone. So now Susie, the designer, just provided her whole team with the scans that she likes for market. So great. Your
Wow.
whole team can't go. Send one. Send your top
Wow.
tier curator of product that should be used and say, we found a new vendor. Set up the account with them. We scanned 15 things we loved from them. Let's integrate those into our projects moving forward.
Wow.
So it's just it's a very simplistic system in a way of we just connected data to the experience.
Yeah.
But it's really, really impactful and really valuable, I think, to the trade member and designers that are going to make their business much more efficient.
Yeah. Now, all of it great. So, two things. We've already said it's free.
Yep.
So, I mean, what the heck? Why would you not download it
Right.
and just start? So we go to the App Store or wherever
Yeah,
you
you
go
can go to
to.
the App Store. You can
Mhm.
go to Discover.market, and the links are all there for whether
Okay.
you have an Android or an iOS device, and you can download the app. The
Okay.
economics are that the vendors really want, like I said, they spend the money in the product investment in just in general, the development of that product,
And just
the marketing
staging
of that product,
the
everything that they
markets.
do,
Yeah.
the amount of salespeople they bring in.
Yeah.
Where we have our expenses, theirs are astronomical in comparison.
Yes.
To bring this product to you, to show it to you, when it gets lost in your photo library, that's a big loss for them as a vendor as well.
That's right.
So the economic model is that the vendors pay to have their data library in the platform so that the designers can utilize it in organizing it for free.
It's
So
just like
that's how it
market.
works.
The vendors pay to
Correct.
show up and
Yep.
display so that
You're
you
not
can
paying
show up and
exactly.
just see it.
You're
Yeah.
not paying the vendor's lease. They're showing this, hoping that you do something with it. And so they're very inclined to make sure that you are scanning these products because they want to be able to help service you better. They want
Yes.
you to know the thing that you liked, the 25 items in their showroom that you liked. They want you to be able to reference that a whole lot easier. So
Yes, so that
that's where
doesn't
the
get lost in the
economics are.
shuffle for
Yep.
them
Yep.
either, right? They
Yep.
lose a sale because you forget where it came
Yeah.
from, and now you order from the next guy you just happen to see.
Yep. And so eventually
Now,
the vendors are providing it like they're providing their showroom space to you for free. They're providing the technology to be able to utilize this.
it makes perfect sense, and I'm just gonna play devil's advocate. Somebody out there is gonna say something about, well, are they getting my data? Or, are they seeing, like, I don't know, are they seeing what I'm doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, by the way, I also know the second we walk into a showroom, they scan our badge. So they're
Correct.
getting your data, like you're all ready. But
They
what is the
already see,
concern
yes.
there?
And what you
Yeah,
had to do to vet to get that, they see all of that. What's
right.
interesting is they don't see that for a while. That process of that technology is a little slow. And what do they get out of that? They get your contact.
Name, rank, and serial number.
Did you
Right.
put in info at susiedesign.com? Does it really go anywhere? What did you provide there? Sure. So, okay. But does it help you if the vendors can then see what was popular in their showroom that market? Maybe there's a new metal finish that they just introduced and it got 500 scans. Guess what they're going to do? Because the tail of product development, I've also worked on that side, is that the product that is coming to market right now, I won't see those orders from trade members for 30, 60, 90 days.
Right.
I'm already doing product development for next year.
Right.
So if there's a new wood finish, or there's a new metal finish, or the upholstery is going a different color or a different texture, and I don't really know what's going on with that, how am I really able to service you as a designer better by manufacturing this product for the future? So in a
Right.
way, it's a flywheel effect of the same thing. You eventually lead to sales and they can base it off that. But that amount of information they know from their showroom, I I don't know that people understand how much that lease costs. It's a
I know.
lot of money. That's
I
a
know.
lot of money that you would be shocked to
I
know.
know.
And
Right.
they only use it for the most part 2 weeks out of the year.
I know.
So, is it such a bad thing that they would understand that you liked that product and you times 1,000 liked that product? They're gonna develop more of that great product for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's, there's a two-way street there that yes, of course, but why wouldn't we want to help provide them with that? Why wouldn't we want to be able to streamline you getting to your sales rep quicker? If
Right.
you looked at these products and you follow up, they'd say, "Hey, yeah, that's what we love that you were in the showroom. We know that you were in the showroom because we scanned your badge. But now you have your own tools. And trust me, these vendors are too busy to follow up and say that, Susie, I liked what you scanned there." They're not doing that. What they're looking at is, "Hey, Susie, the tool is sitting there for you to utilize.
Yeah.
Scan away and reorganize later," because they don't have time to follow up with 25,000 people. That's not
Right.
going to happen.
Right.
So what it's meant for is the same as they provide the space. They provide the space, they provide the lunch, they provide the bar, they all of that. Well, now they're providing a technology that allows you to stay organized free.
I
So,
love it. I love it. I think you know what you make such a great point. It's like once your badge is scanned, they have your name, they have, who you are, where you're located, if you've been to the showroom 16 times in the last 10 years or you've only been
yeah,
there once, right? So what are you giving up, really? And to your point, like, I could see, like, first of all, probably most of the time, they're just aggregating what happened, not who did it. To your point,
correct.
we introduced this new product, and did everybody walk right by it? And 2% of 10,000 people scanned it?
Yep,
And that's like, and they all went to the one from last year that we thought was yesterday's news? Or was it a big splash? And what
yep.
about it was a big splash? Let's do more of this, right?
Yep. Yep. And so yeah, that's exactly the point is that it provides them with they are only looking at aggregated data that they want to
Yeah.
see. How did that brand new thing perform? And did it
Yeah.
perform as the same as it did last market? Or can
Yeah.
we do more of that? Is that color now not performing and we're gonna get rid of burgundy?
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
Or is it, a couple markets ago, it started popping up and this burgundy and these wine colors in it. It's like, okay, well, they then can see what your interest is because you as a trade member, ultimately, at the end of the day, y the way I view it, we as interior designers are an extension of their sales force. We have the customers that buy.
Yep.
So we may love that, but the customer may not because
Right.
they're not buying that yet. But
Right.
what would help those vendors to manufacture cooler things that really take your design to another level is that they're able to in an aggregated fashion look at that to see what color worked, to see
Right.
what new, you know, the boucle of it all that just keeps going. Is it now? Are we going into velvets? Like, let's test the waters and try a new thing because as a vendor, we would now know that we're going to see data that says, they do like that. They love light burled wood.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
going darker burled wood. Can we bring, like, what do we do with, can we do a high gloss of anything?
Right,
Let's try that
right.
out and they're going to throw a cool new product out to see who bites and what that looks like. It only benefits our whole industry because cooler products and more cutting edge things are going to come from it
Hmm.
because they're running blind. They're spending a fortune to be there and a
Yeah.
fortune to feed you and a fortune to serve you drinks, and they want to be more efficient with things as well, and we
Yeah.
kind of as a trade group can help guide the vendors that we like based on the things that we're scanning and
Yeah.
we love for our clients.
Well, and it's funny because if you set up a different mechanism that's like, hey, interior designers of the world that come to High Point and Dallas and La Vegas and all the places, you get to drive the conversation. You get to
Yeah.
say to the people what matters, what are the things that work and don't work. You'd be all signed up for it. You'd be like,
Yes.
let me tell you. So do you
Yes.
need to be asked to a focus group or can you just do it through the work that you're doing and not
Yeah.
worry about that they're catching that data of what you've snapped, right?
Yeah. I mean, Forehands there was a new occasional chair that just came out this past market in Vegas, and it had a beautiful chrome edge detail on it. And I haven't seen anything at Forehands that's like that. Okay, well, I scanned that. And how many other people would have scanned that? Do they then develop? Is there now a sofa line that comes from that?
Yeah.
Does it come out next market?
Yeah.
Because they understand what it is, or is it a year out where I'm
Yeah.
like, I love that. That is so cool. I got nothing else to pair it with. But how cool would it be if that now maybe that chrome finish was on a coffee table that would coordinate? But they just threw the one thing out to see what happens. But
Yes.
90 days later of sales doesn't do a whole lot.
No.
And maybe I couldn't sell it to my client, but I love it. Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's figure out more things, and maybe you have a whole room next market that you can go and pull from that product, and maybe now there's a bed that coordinates with that,
Right.
benches, whatever. So
Right.
it really, I think, helps, and we're there anyway, looking at it, talking to them, telling them things. But we also sometimes don't want to walk with anybody, and we don't want to walk with sales. Everyone, we don't want to talk to anybody because we got 5 minutes, and honestly, I only came from the bar anyway. So I
But that's a
just
pretty
want that
cool light there.
cocktail.
So
Yeah, it's a cool light. And yeah, I have nothing for it, but it could be cool in the future. And then later, I'm like, you know what? I saw a pleated shade lamp at Forehands.
yeah.
I don't remember when, but I know it's scanned somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it costs. I have no idea. But now I
Right.
can go back and I can reference it. And there's 35 sitting in stock. Great. I want to show
Yeah.
that to my client tomorrow.
That's awesome.
So, anyways.
That's awesome. So here's the thing. I don't do it for a living. I feel like I completely understand it. I feel like understand all the benefits for all of the peoples, for the designers, for the vendors, for everybody. But did I miss something that I need to ask you about it because of that little gap of not being boots on the ground doing this actual thing? Because it all makes sense to me. And I'm like, it's free. Why wouldn't I not try this next April 2026 spring market? Like, it's just like, why would I not do this?
I think I've sold it so many times for the last year that I couldn't tell you if there's something we missed because I've had 1,000 conversations about it. But I think in general that it just is this incredible tool that allows you to very quickly scan, and your behavior will really shift
Yeah.
because you go through, you open that scanner, and you are just really taking in the feeling and the tactile part, not stressed. You're able
Yes.
to just go through, scan, and trust that all that data is sitting right there for you for not even tonight,
Yeah.
that tomorrow when you get home or next week when you get home, and it's more robust than you could have ever put into a picture or organized,
Yeah.
and it's just automatically done for you. So I think it's I would urge everybody to at least give it a shot to scan a
Yes.
couple of items, because when I go anywhere else and I see product, I for whatever reason couldn't scan it at the time. There's other features that are coming with that currently in the technology, but it was a bummer because I'm like,
Yeah. It's like, oh,
I
shoot.
don't want to take a picture of that because I don't know the rest of the story with that product.
Right. It's
And
like I've
again,
had a car all along and now I got to ride a bike. It's like, forget
I
it.
only have 10 minutes to go through here right now. I'm on my way to a panel that I really want to go see. I don't want to chit chat. I don't want to talk. I just want to do what I want to do. And
Yeah.
I want to save it on my device. And I want to load it to my dashboard where
Yeah.
I can reference it whenever I want to. Because we
Yeah.
all know too, again, being creatives, sometimes that is a glass of wine and a 10:30 design session. Maybe that's when I'm ready to do it now, and I don't want to talk to anybody else, and I don't want to reference your Google Drive wasn't updated, this assistant that just started. I don't need all that. What I need is it's sitting in the place I put it, and it's done the
I
second
love
I
it.
scan. So anyway,
I love it. I think it sounds outstanding. I mean, I'm just like, I can't stand that I can't think of anything not good about it.
it's a really, I mean, again, it's based on 15
Obviously,
years of
user
my own
experience.
experience, working with a bunch of different retail places and just the trade show experience in general, and as a designer, a big firm and a little firm and all that. And it's really exciting to get to do this and bring it to everyone because I know what the pain point is. And
Yeah.
it's, again, it's the second anyone tries it, it's pretty big. The first two markets in High Point and Las Vegas, we only launched with 25 vendors that were sort of our top tier so that we could service and literally visit. Our team visited each of the 25 every day to just make sure everything's running smooth, the technology's fine. So it's
Yeah.
kind of had a soft launch. We have 200 vendors in the platform for scannability for High Point.
For
So
April 2026.
pretty much everywhere you're going to end up going, you're going to be able to scan. And then the ones that you aren't, there's a crowdsourced feature where you can scan and add it to the same place as well.
That's
If for
amazing.
some reason, if somebody off the beaten path, then we just haven't gotten to them yet. But yeah, you'll have 200 places to be able to scan, and certainly your top tier, high traffic vendors they're
Your
all on platform
go-tos.
already. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So,
amazing. Gage, I think it's outstanding. I think
well,
it's
thank you.
amazing. And if everybody isn't running around with it at this market, I don't know. They're like living under a rock because it just,
Well,
why not? I mean, like I said, baseline, you got to try it for one market in my mind. Like
try it in one
what's to
showroom.
lose? Yep.
Try it in one showroom. Give it a shot. You're gonna have some showrooms that are asking you to use it as well. So you might as well download it in advance because some of your big box ones are gonna start requiring it this market.
Oh,
But
interesting. That they
because
they they understand the
it's
streamline of
and
it and
it's
how
and
much
it's
it saves them. So they're
and
like,
it's not back
yeah,
to, again, you're talking, I don't want to give out figures, but it is, I mean, an unbelievable amount of money for their leases. And so,
sure.
they're doing all of that. They're putting a lot of effort into this to present you their best products.
Yeah.
They want to understand how you engage with their space, but they also want you to have that reference point. Because again,
Yeah.
if they have 10,000 people coming through, they're not calling you.
No.
No one's bothering you,
No.
but they want to know how did their product perform and what
Yeah.
can they do to make sure you have a tool that allows you to engage with their library, which you don't have anywhere else. There's
Right.
there's nowhere else where you can engage with their product library vendor by vendor. So by doing that, they get better information to your dashboard immediately on that scan. So they want to utilize it. It's not fully back to the don't take pictures in our showroom, but scan the product because it's going to help you later. And we're
Yeah.
paying for it as a vendor for you to have. So
Right,
please
right.
go scan. So
I
yeah,
love it.
it's
I
worth
love
a
it.
download and it's worth a few scans. Give it a shot. See what you think of it. But I'm just telling you, everyone that I've sort of boots on the ground told at these first few markets, it's a jaw-dropping moment knowing that I can go scan showroom to showroom. And
Yeah.
we've all seen the tags. They're sitting right there. They
Yes.
now are actionable for you to use and to save all of this data for later.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being here and
Of
explaining it to
course.
all of us.
Thank you for
And
letting me
yeah,
share.
I think you have a winner on your hands. It'll be exciting to watch you guys grow the company. And so thank you for being here, Gage. Appreciate it.
We appreciate it. Thank you, LuAnn.
Okay. Literally wish this was an in-person conversation where I could see your faces because I gotta believe you are thinking to yourself, are you kidding me? Right? Like, doesn't this sound amazing? You come home from market, excited about everything you've discovered, incredible pieces, new vendors, ideas for projects, and inspiration for future ones. But then the reality hits. Hundreds of photos on the camera roll, and you're trying to remember where you saw something, who the rep was, what the price was, what project it was for. What started as inspiration quickly turns into a pile of information that's too hard to sort through and even harder to turn into actual specifications, which turns into actual dollar bills, right? Because here's the real challenge. At market, it isn't finding great products. You are good at that. You have radar for that. You know exactly what you're doing. The challenge is capturing what you discover in a way that makes it usable when you get back to work. And this is exactly what Gage and his team have solved with Discover Market app. It gives you a way to capture product information while you're walking market so the pieces don't get lost in photos and notes later. Best part, app is free. No downside to giving it a try. So here's what I'd love you to do. Go to discover.market. That's it. You want to look for a .com or whatever. It's not there. It's not necessary. Go to discover.market and download the app. And the next time you go to a furniture market, I want you to put it to work. And I want you to see what you think, all right? Did it make specifying easier? Did it help you stay more organized after market? How about forget stay more organized, get organized after market, right? Because when you build systems into your process, you will make it easier to turn that inspiration that you get from market into actual projects and into actual profitability. That's how your business grows. So you will also find the link to the app in our show notes, but go to discover.market and get started today. All right? Please let me know what you think about this. I'm very curious because it feels to me like a slam dunk. All right. Thanks so much for joining me today. Decide to be excellent. Thank you so much for joining me again today. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks, your resource for custom window treatments and awnings. To learn how we can help you on your next interior design project, go to www.windowworks-nj.com. And if you're interested in working with me on your business, either through masterminds or one-on-one coaching, or you want to know how to get my book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, or you just want to know what's going on in the podcast land and where I'm going to be, all of that is found at LuAnnNigara.com. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day.